Chang here with a review on the CoolFire Dry Fire Training Kit. Before we get into that though, if you could, please give us a thumbs up on this video. Please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon off to the right so you can be notified of any of the new content that we might post here. So here's my Smith Wesson M&P 2.0, which is going to make sure that it is empty. Everybody can see that there's nothing in there. See some daylight through the mag well there. Let's go ahead and get this. Off here. So this is my, I'd say my third CoolFire Trainer unit. I'm a big fan of these. I use them in conjunction with an iDryFire video unit. So I'll show you what I use in a second. There's a little laser attachment that could go on here. But what this is it's a little CO2 tank here. And what it does is it replaces your stock barrel and recoil spring. And that's really dirty. I guess I didn't clean it. What you do here is you go ahead and get the barrel put back in, and it's impossible to put anything firing in here. You can see it's blocked up right there. I don't know if you guys can see this as well. There's threads right there inside, and you can thread visible or infrared lasers on there for use with laser training systems. So I'm going to get our recoil spring set. They do come with these I think they're from Rogers. Yeah, it says Rogers on there, and basically they're little, I don't know, snap caps of sorts that you load in the magazine that allows you to have the mag inserted and the slide to move back and forth. So it comes in a nice handy kit here. If you wanted to store your stock stuff in here, you could. All right, so that's off here. Let's go ahead and get this back on the barrel here. All right, if you have issues getting that slide lock lever to close, sometimes the barrel is a little bit out of position. If you just give that a push back, this will allow the locking lug to lock up again. So just like a standard dry pressing piece, I can still dry press, right? But you can tell it's very obviously not a real barrel. The kit will also come, if you ask for it when you purchase, for one of these adapters. Now I have an adapter. They have an adapter for a paintball gun tank, and they have an adapter for SodaStream. So they have a really good set of instructional videos on how you would fill these, but there's a little fill valve there. And in their videos, they have the tank upside down when you're filling the barrel. And if you hear that pop, that's an indication to you that this is actually functioning. So, should be able to rack the gun and get some recoil out of that. All right, so it's nice to be able to do some dry pressing, dry quote-unquote fire or dry pressing practice at home. And actually have a little bit of recoil simulation there. It's not as heavy as an actual firearm, but it's still better than kind of just dry pressing and not being able to work on reset or anything like that. So for those of you who are getting into more advanced levels of dry pressing, I highly recommend one of these. Advantage over the CERT gun, which I've talked about with folks in the class before. I really love the CERT guns, but they don't recoil. They have good trigger reset, very similar to a Glock. But let's say you own an M&P. Unless you buy the M&P version of the CERT, you're not really going to get that same trigger feel. For this is stock trigger. You are actually getting the trigger feel and reset of your particular gun. So kind of cool, right? So there you go. Now, if you're interested in having some sort of laser feedback, they do sell this unit, and this is going to be their laser attachment. They have one that's a little bit longer that allows you to fill the tank through the laser. but it's kind of pointless because it won't fit in a holster anymore. So if you're doing draw practice, draw to first shot, multiple target transitions, things like that, yeah, it'll work if the gun's out. But if you're looking at, trying to come out of holster, it's going to be pretty impractical. Now, I had mentioned that I use it with a piece of software, iDryFire. They have video software. That I prefer to use infrared and not the red laser. You can get this in infrared and you can get it in red. I prefer not to use red because it tends to have people, quote unquote, game. So when you press the trigger and the air goes through it, it activates a switch here, the laser lights up. And if it's red, you're actually looking for the hole, right? And if we're looking at really shooting iron sights, follow through indicates that we're supposed to take that second sight alignment after each shot. So I have to focus on the front sight. But if I'm looking for a hole, that's going to actually translate to live shooting. So the infrared laser is kind of nice. If I have a piece of software that I can play while I'm dry pressing and it recognizes that and I look at it on it at a screen, that's actually going to be much more advantageous than actually having that red visible laser that pops every single time. So this just screws in right on those threads. And you want to be very careful with putting it on. You don't want to cross thread it, right? So that's it. Now, again, this is not going to be a visible laser. This unit is the IR. I don't use visible lasers. So there you go. All right. So hopefully you found this helpful. This is definitely an option for folks who are looking to kind of up their dry pressing game. Something that helps them work on recoil management, trigger reset, and maybe used with a piece of software. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please give us a thumbs up on this video. Help us out with that algorithm. Hit that subscribe button, and that bell notification icon should be off to the right here somewhere like that. That's about it. Stay safe, and we'll see you out on the range.